Hello. In this video we will be deriving and using a reference table for special angles of 0, 30, 45, 60 and 90 degrees. The table begins with a 0, then we have a 1, 2, 3 and 4. You take a square root of this whole thing and divide the radical by 2. The reference values for sine go from left to right, so we have sine. On top of 0 there is a reference for sine of 0 degrees. On top of 1 there is a reference for sine of 30 degrees. On top of 2 there is a reference for sine of 45 degrees. On top of 3 there is a reference for sine of 60 degrees, and on top of 4 there is a reference for sine of 90 degrees. The reference for the cosine values are from right to left, so on top of 4 there is a reference for cosine of 0 degrees. On top of 3 there is a reference for cosine of 30 degrees. On top of 2 there is a reference for cosine of 45 degrees. On top of 1 there is a reference for cosine of 60 degrees. And on top of 0 there is a reference for cosine of 90 degrees. In this problem, we have to find exact value of sine of 0 degrees, cosine of 0 degrees, and tangent of 0 degrees. We begin this problem with making a reference table, which is 0, 1, 2, 3, 4. We take a square root of this whole thing and divide everything by 2. So now the big thing to remember is that sine will go from left to right. So we have 0, 30, 45, 60 and 90. And cosine will go from right to left. So we have 0, 30, 45, 60 and 90. To find sine of 0, you look at the reference table, locate where the 0 degrees reference is, which is right here. It's on top of 0. So sine of 0 degrees from this reference is equal to radical 0 out of 2. Now you just need to simplify this. Square root of 0 is 0 divided by 2. 0 divided by 2 is equal to 0. So sine of 0 is equal to 0. The next thing we need to locate is cosine of 0. So cosine of 0 reference is right here. It's on top of 4. Cosine of 0 from this reference is equal to radical 4 divided by 2. The square root of 4 is equal to 2. It's still out of 2. And 2 divided by 2 simplifies into 1. So cosine of 0 degrees is equal to 1. Tangent of 0 degrees is not represented in this reference table. However, we can use ratio of sine of the angle divided by cosine of that angle to find the value of the tangent of that angle. So tangent of 0 will be equal to sine of 0, which is 0, divided by cosine of 0, which is 1. So we get tangent of 0 degrees is equal to 0 divided by 1, 0. In this example, we need to find the exact value of sine of 30 degrees, cosine of 30 degrees, and tangent of 30 degrees. We begin by making a reference table, which is 0, 1, 2, 3, 4. Take a square root of this and divide everything by 2. Sine reference goes from left to right, so sine 0 degrees, 30 degrees, 45 degrees, 60 degrees and 90 degrees on top of 4. Cosine reference goes from right to left, so we have 0, 30, 45, 60, 90 degrees. Sine of 30 degrees is, well, reference for 30 degrees in sine is on top of 1. So sine of 30 degrees is square root of 1 divided by 2. Square root of 1 is 1 divided by 2. So sine of 30 degrees is equal to 1/2. The reference for cosine of 30 degrees is on top of 3. So cosine of 30 degrees is equal to square root of 3 divided by 2. Cannot simplify this anymore. Now to find tangent of 30 degrees, we need to take sine of 30 degrees and divide it by cosine of 30 degrees. I'm writing this ratio as a division because sine of 30 and cosine of 30 already have fractions, and this way it will be a lot easier to simplify. So we have tangent of 30 degrees is equal to sine of 30 degrees is equal to 1/2 divided by cosine of 30 degrees is radical 3 out of 2. And now we just need to simplify this. Tangent of 30 degrees is equal to, we keep the first fraction 1/2 as is, change division into multiplication and flip the second fraction, so we have 2 out of radical 3. Both numerator and denominator can be reduced by 2. So 2 divided by 2 is equal to 1, and 2 divided by 2 is equal to 1 in numerator. So we get tangent of 30 degrees is equal to 1 out of radical 3. And we just need to rationalize this. Square root will cancel out with the second power, so we need one more factor of radical 3 in denominator. Whatever we do to denominator, we do the same thing to numerator. So tangent of 30 degrees is equal to 1 times radical 3. We have square root of 3 out of 2 factors of radical 3 is square root of 3 to the second power. Square root and the second power will cancel out, and we get tangent of 30 degrees is equal to square root of 3 out of 3. In this example, we need to find exact value of sine of 45 degrees, cosine of 45 degrees, and tangent of 45 degrees. So let's begin with the reference table. 0, 1, 2, 3, 4. Take a square root and divide everything by 2. Reference for sine goes from left to right, so we have 0, 30, 45, 60, 90. Reference for cosine goes from right to left, so we have 0, 30, 45, 60, 90. The reference for 45 degrees is on top of 2, so sine of 45 degrees is equal to square root of 2 out of 2. Reference for cosine of 45 degrees is also on top of 2, so cosine of 45 degrees is radical 2 out of 2 as well. Tangent of 45 degrees will be equal to sine of 45 degrees divided by cosine of 45 degrees. So we get tangent of 45 degrees is equal to sine of 45 is radical 2 out of 2 divided by cosine of 45 is also radical 2 out of 2. Something divided by itself is always equal to 1, but we can simplify this division. We keep the first fraction radical 2 out of 2, change division into multiplication, flip the second fraction, we get 2 out of radical 2. Multiply numerators and denominators, we will get 2 radical 2 in numerator and 2 radical 2 in denominator. And this is something divided by itself, which is equal to 1. So tangent of 45 degrees is equal to 1. In this example, we need to find the exact value of sine of 60 degrees, cosine of 60 degrees, and tangent of 60 degrees. So let's begin with the reference table. We have 0, 1, 2, 3, 4. Take a square root and divide everything by 2. Sine goes from left to right, so we have sine of 0, 30, 45, 60, 90. Cosine goes from right to left, so we have 0, 30, 45, 60, 90. So let's look for sine of 60 degrees. Sine of 60 degrees, the reference is on top of 3. So the sine of 60 degrees will be radical 3 out of 2. Let's do cosine of 60 degrees. Reference for cosine of 60 degrees is on top of 1. So cosine of 60 degrees is square root of 1 out of 2. And this will simplify into cosine of 60 degrees being equal to 1/2. And tangent of 60 degrees is equal to sine of 60 degrees divided by cosine of 60 degrees. This will give us tangent of 60 degrees equals to sine of 60 degrees is radical 3 out of 2 divided by cosine of 60 degrees is 1/2. Tangent of 60 degrees is equal to radical 3 out of 2. We change division into multiplication. Flip the second fraction, which will give us 2 out of 1. Both numerator and denominator can be reduced by 2. Since this and this will cancel, we get that tangent of 60 degrees is equal to radical 3. In this example, we need to find exact value of sine of 90 degrees, cosine of 90 degrees, and tangent of 90 degrees. So let's begin with deriving our reference, which is 0, 1, 2, 3, 4. We take square root of this thing and divide everything by 2. Sine reference goes from left to right, so we have 0, 30, 45, 60, 90, and cosine goes from right to left, so we have 0, 30, 45, 60, 90. Sine of 90 is equal to reference for 90 degrees for sine is on top of 4, so sine of 90 degrees is equal to square root of 4 out of 2. This will simplify into square root of 4 is 2 out of 2, which is equal to 1. So sine of 90 degrees is equal to 1. Cosine of 90 degrees, reference for cosine of 90 degrees is on top of 0. So cosine of 90 degrees is equal to square root of 0 out of 2. Square root of 0 is 0 divided by 2. 0 divided by 2 is equal to 0. So cosine of 90 degrees is equal to 0. Tangent of 90 degrees will be equal to sine of 90 degrees divided by cosine of 90 degrees. So we get tangent of 90 degrees is equal to the ratio of sine of 90 degrees is equal to 1, cosine of 90 degrees is equal to 0. Since we cannot divide by 0, tangent of 90 degrees is undefined. That's all.